Hey guys, I'm back again with a special request. This is for reverse lockout so that you can't put your EDF in reverse unless the gear is down. So let me show you my basic standard setup. I haven't been using a lockout, so I just came up with this method. In channel assign, I assign switch F for reverse. You got to hold it longer. So my reverse channel is channel 7 or function 7. And switch F. I like to use F. It's on the right side. I don't normally use any switches on the right side because throttle cuts over there. So my gear is on A on the left side. My dual rates are on B on the left side. Flaps is on D. So when I land and I'm on the ground, my right hand is free to hit switch F while my left hand is working the throttle and the rudder. So that's why I use F. So this is my standard setup without the lockout. And so on my audio events, I have switch F set up to say forward when it's in position 0 and reverse in the middle and position 2. So that if I move that switch from forward, it's going to be in reverse no matter where I land. So, and then the other thing I have to do on mine is if I'll get out far enough, in servo setup, I have to reverse the reverse channel so that the switch works the way I want it to. If I didn't reverse the channel here, I would have to reverse the digital switch settings for switch F, and I don't want to do that. It's just, you just have to change one thing to reverse the channel here, and you have to change two things to do it at the switch setup, so I avoid it. So anyway, um, I set up a logical switch using switch F and switch A. And so you click here and you flip the switch you want to use for reversing. And then you click here and you flip the switch that you use for gear. And you can swap these. So I could put A there and F there. The difference is that the matrix, looks like this. And so anyway, 0 I use for forward and 1 I use for reverse. But you can do it either way. But since the F switch is the main switch, I set it there and then I set that one for A. Now when you flip these switches, the gear is up. And when I flip switch F, it stays on 0. And I also have the audio announcement strictly on F, not on this logical switch. You can make it use the logical switch to announce where the switches are. And then if I lower the gear, now it said gear down, but it's also in reverse because that's where I left it. See, so that's forward, that's reverse, and that's reverse. And you pull the gear up. Now the F switch doesn't do anything, although it says it does. So I kind of have mixed feelings about how I want to do the audio announcement for this. I'll show you the other way. Of course, the other thing is that you've got to come in here and set 0 to 100% positive, and then you've got to set 1 to minus 100. And of course, the way you set these values, you click on them and you pick which one you want them to be. But all you need in this case is 0 for no reverse and 1 for reverse. So at any rate, make it look like this. All right, so Now we've got a name for this switch. This logical switch is called reverse lockout. And so what we can do is go into channel assign, and instead of using switch F, which does not have a lockout, it's going to work regardless of whether the gear is up or down. We go down here and we change it to reverse lockout. And so now the combination switch is working channel 7. And if you go back out and go to the monitor, if the gear is down, channel 7 works. And if the gear is up, channel 7 doesn't do anything. So you can't make it go in reverse with the gear up. Now, the other way to do the audio announcements is to go to your switch change reports and disable the one for F and enable the one that I created for reverse lockout. And so position 0 is forward and position 1 is reverse. And even though F is a 3-position switch, the logical switch only has 2 positions because I gave it just 0 and 1. So anyway, when you go back out, now when the gear is up and I move switch F, it doesn't say anything. So there's nothing to tell me what that switch does unless I lower the gear. And now that switch, and it says reverse if it goes to the middle position, and it doesn't say reverse if it goes to the position 2, but you see it stayed where it was. So you don't get 3 announcements on the 3-position switch. You only get 2, you know, in position 0 and 1, because the logical switch only has 2 positions, not 3. So, you know, it's a different deal. And I don't know if I like it being quiet with the gear up when I flip switch F. Perhaps it would be better to leave it set to switch F. So all I have to do, and let's see, did I show you this? Yeah, I did show you that. So you can just disable this one and enable this one, and now you're back the way it was with the gear up. Switch F announces just like it did originally without the reverse lockout. And of course, A switch has always worked. So there's 2 ways to do the audio announcements, and whichever way you're comfortable with. I think I like switch F saying reverse, even though the motor won't go into reverse with the gear up. So anyway, and you notice I named my channels. You probably, if you watched any of my other videos, you've probably seen that. But it helps. Well, it tells me what the channels do. I don't have to guess or remember. So I like naming my channels so I know what they're going to do. Now, if you make any changes to the wing type, tail type, different things like that, it's going to wipe out your names and put them back like the factory does it, and you'll have to go back into servo settings and rename them again. So don't name your channels until after you've done your wing and tail type, or you're gonna get to do them over again. So anyway, logical switch, and I always name the switch for what it does, and pick the switches, change the value of the cells, change the value that it because this works just like a switch. It's a virtual switch, but it still has minus 100, plus 100, and possibly 0. If you have 3 positions, like if you had 0, 1, and 2, you could have 3 values here. But you only need 2 for reverse and forward. in this case. So I would probably do it like this, where switch F always tells you what its purpose is, and just let the gear disable the motor. That's probably the least confusing way to do it. So anyway, there you go. Reverse lockout, unless the gear is down. So that's one way to do it. I'm sure there are others. There's lots of ways to do this stuff. Anyway, hopefully that'll help you out. Thanks for watching.